All right. Hello there, Internet. Jason Wilma here. What we're doing today is I want to do a quick live. I've got a coaching call coming up here in a second, but what I want to do just briefly to this is talk to you about something that's been coming up in my group. And, what this is basically about is, how do you go out and get a first client. So what I want to do in this brief intro is kind of warm you up to this idea of how to go get a client, what to kind of be looking for to try to find a client, and then kind of what to do and what to offer first. So currently, I don't see anybody watching at the moment, but that's okay. Sometimes when I've done this before, I've just talked to an empty room and then realized that my live wasn't even hooked up, but I don't think that's the case this time. So what I want to do is just go ahead and get started with this. And so this is basically how to land your first client. Now, I think that there's a quote that I want to give credit to my friend Luke Hansen for, and that is this. Don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I totally know what it's like to be in this boat. Sometimes when you're in this growth marketing game or when you're in an agency game or whatever you're doing, you don't necessarily have the confidence that you're going to be able to come pull this off for a client. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. So like I was saying, I think a lot of hesitation that people have when they are starting to get ready to do this client thing is they don't have the confidence to go out and pitch somebody. They feel like they need all of the necessary components. They need to know how to, set up tracking, retargeting, all of these little things first prior to going out and actually landing a client. And I totally get that. But what I want to do is I would just want to this video, this live specifically, it's not going to be long. Like I said, I've got a call here in a little bit. I'm speaking to those people who haven't yet gone out and pitched somebody. Maybe you are more like on this other side preparing to pitch, but here is kind of the deal. Like what I kind of wanted to encourage you to do in this video is to just take action, right? You're never going to be quote unquote good enough in your own mind, I think, in order to go out and pitch somebody. There's a mental block there. There's some internal disbelief. And what I think is the more important piece is this. People need help. People need your help right now. Businesses, and this is true now more than ever, need to know, not need to know, but businesses need leads, clients, and customers. And if you can be the one to help them do that, you're going to help yourself, you're going to help the business, and then you're also going to help their customers. If you don't know how to set up UTMs properly, if you don't know how to, set up these Google Analytics goals, if you don't know everything about Facebook ins and out, like if you don't know YouTube ads or Google search ads or anything like that, that's okay. Just go get started. Okay. So what I want to do in this video is just encourage you to take action, whether you have the quote unquote skills or not, because here's the deal. Businesses out there don't have your skills. They don't have your skills as a growth marketer. And what you need to do is to leverage your own skills and to do that. And here's the biggest thing that I think is most important. So I want to slow down and I want to make sure that I emphasize this point more than anything. If you have doubts that you can actually go out and pull this off for clients, bringing them leads, you're spending their money, you're going to be running ads on their behalf, you're going to be asking them for money. Here is my advice to you. It's very, very simple. Just be honest. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with your client. Okay. You don't have to promise them results. You can just be honest with this first client and say, hey, this is my first run at this. I'm going to give you a discount because of this. Okay. You don't have to go into a relationship, claiming that that you can bring them X amount of leads, because at the end of the day, if you can't do that, then that's going to look bad, right? Just be honest with the client. Just be honest with the business. And do business with honest businesses, by the way. That always helps. So what I think people get too caught up in. Hey, Muhammad, thank you for the question. Can we apply this for SEO agency? Yes, definitely. Now, I teach paid traffic and paid growth primarily because, if you're an SEO, then you are going to, there's a delay obviously involved in SEO and results. And the reason why I like paid ads is because I want to send in UTMs. I want to prove to the client that this is coming from me. But yes, definitely. Here's what I would say. Like, if you have an offer for a client, all of these same principles are going to, not all of these, but some of these will apply to you. But I think this is a deal. You have to be honest with people. You can't lie. There's so much fakery in this game, and especially in marketing in general. Just people are used to the kind of the nonsense that goes along with marketing and marketers. So here's my advice to those who are interested in getting started: be honest with your clients or your first potential clients. Say, hey, listen, I haven't necessarily done this before, but I know the ins and outs. And by the way, guys, if you have never done this for a client before, uh, quick plug for Retargeting IQ. Now, Retargeting IQ is not all I do, but if you want to really help a business and prove that it is you helping them, set up their retargeting and set up their tracking. I show you how to do it for $27, and then stack onto that. So here's what I would do if I was honestly working with a very first time working with a client. So a couple things I want to give you some ideas. So that's not the one. One, I preach tracking and retargeting. Well, I preach paid ads. Why? Because they're trackable, they're predictable, and they're scalable. If you can find results for a client and all you have to do is go spend more money to get them more money, to help them get more customers, to keep their customers happy, all of that, you should stay in paid ads. They're not going away. Advertising is not going away. Yes, iOS has affected this some, but it will still work. It's still what I'm selling. It's still what I'm delivering. I'm seeing the results. So no, this isn't, the sky is not falling. But if you want to know if you can help a business, what I would suggest is downloading 2 Chrome extension apps. One is the Facebook Pixel Helper that will determine if a business has a pixel on their website or not. The other is the Google Tag Assistant. This will allow you to understand whether they have a Google remarketing tag on their website. So here's kind of the deal. If you have a business in mind that you want to help, and you are in this position to run ads for them, that's kind of what I would suggest doing. And again, use Retargeting IQ. Like, it'll show you exactly what to do in 2.5 hours or less. Then if you want, additional coaching from there, fine. But I'm not necessarily like plugging this to like get sales. I'm plugging this because I know it's the solution that you need. Okay. But hear me out. What I would offer them is this: if you are nervous about asking somebody for money, I get that, but I would encourage you that businesses are used to exchanging money with people. Okay. But if you're nervous about delivering results and taking somebody's money before you deliver those results, let me give you some advice. So first, what I would do, step 1, download this thing, Retargeting IQ. You're going to set up their tracking systems first. So that way, if you do move the needle for them, you can prove it to them. So you could say this, like, I'm going to set up your tracking, and then I'm going to set up your retargeting. The second that I get you a lead and that I can prove that it is coming from me, that's when our retainer will start, which is a great way to like go into this situation. Basically, what you don't have to do is you don't have to like twist around for money. But what it's going to do is, 1, it's going to give you results. 2, it's going to give you the proof that you need to have those results. It's going to give your clients that evidence, and it's going to give you confidence. So if you just go into this honestly and just have an honest conversation with these folks saying, hey, I don't necessarily have like experience doing this. I think I know. I've got a good roadmap from Jason Wilmot. I'm going to set up your tracking systems so that we know where your leads are coming from. And then we're going to set up retargeting system, because that's basically the easiest money for any business to get. Once those machines start working, and once I can prove that those results are coming from me, at that point, that is when I'm going to ask you for a retainer. That is a completely honest way of doing this. And here's the deal: if you can't get them results, then you can't get them the results. But if you just set up retargeting and if you just set up tracking systems, I can tell you that most likely they are going to get results, because with retargeting, you're just putting ads back in the front of the folks who've already been to their website, the folks who are on, who visiting from their business cards or everything other than their like businesses are doing everything with marketing. They're marketing, they have marketing materials. They're pointing everybody to their website. So always start your advertising there. Okay. I need to check my questions here. Okay. Going back to this. Okay. So, I don't have a ton of time because I've got a coaching call after this, but here's another idea. Okay. So if you want to know what businesses are actually running ads or not, all that you have to do is go to their Facebook page and then scroll down to Facebook page transparency. From there, you will understand if this business is running ads. And I would do basically 2 sorts of things. 1, if they are running ads, that means they are willing to invest in paid ads, which is great. That is a good opportunity for you. You can look at their website, use your Facebook Pixel Helper to see if they've got a pixel on there. And if they don't, a pitch of retargeting is going to work perfectly for you, because they're sending leads in with their ads, but they're not retargeting. And that is the vast majority of businesses out there. They don't know how to set up retargeting. Agencies don't really know how to set up retargeting. They know how to send in traffic. But you're not only interested in setting up retargeting, you're also interested in setting up their conversions, meaning you are going to track how they are making money because that is leverage for you. And that is the data that you guys need to have in order to have an honest conversation. Remember, this always comes back to honesty. You can get away with doing a bad job. However, you can't hide data. You cannot send data in, which is not what I would suggest. But, if you're getting into this game of growth marketing and you're going to be playing with data, use it to your advantage. So that's what I would suggest on the Facebook page transparency side. You can understand whether somebody is running ads or not, and then you can change your positioning of your pitch based upon that. Now, the same holds true for Google Ads, and a good resource that I would use is SpyFu for that. So SpyFu is a website which shows you if somebody is running Google search ads or not. And so Google search ads will understand, obviously, if they're investing money in search. And again, this goes back to the same positioning that you had before. If somebody is spending money on search ads and they're spending money and they're getting people to their website and they don't have retargeting set up, well, just sell them retargeting, because they're spending their time, money, and energy getting people into the website. But if they don't have retargeting set up, then they're just letting that money go all the way through. Everybody knows what a sales phone call is like. We all love sales phone calls. When you don't have retargeting, it's basically like having a good sales phone call, and then never following up with them ever. Like, that's the problem with which most businesses have. So if you're like a little nervous about going out and getting your first client, guys, I get it. But here's the deal. What you need to understand is what you can actually offer somebody yourself. And you can offer them basically this unlimited supply of leads if the system works. Now, you can't go out and pitch that like unlimited amount of leads. No, I never guarantee anything in my negotiations with a business. I can't say that. I'm not going to guarantee an amount of leads. I'm not going to guarantee results, because that's not like an honest conversation. Now, maybe you could have that conversation around somebody, but what I can tell them is we are going to set up your tracking. We are going to have insight into where your money is going. We are going to set up your retargeting. I can guarantee that the people who visit your website are going to see retargeting ads here, 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 right? That's what you can guarantee to somebody. And I think that is a much more honest, approach than just kind of saying, hey, I'm going to get you 30 leads in the first 3 months. Otherwise, X, blah, 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 blah. No, don't do that. If you've never done that before, you can't lead with that. Okay. If you have done that and you have clients, then you can lead with that. But again, this is kind of for the folks who are a little bit hesitant about going out and doing this. Now, one thing that I say, question, how can I use cold calling to get a first client for SEO web design agency? Good question, Mohammed. Now, again, I'm not preaching SEO and web design. I do teach that. I do teach SEO and how SEO plays into this. But again, I would encourage you to look into growth marketing. Now, you could lead with SEO and you could lead with web design, but that website needs to get filled with traffic somehow. Now, obviously, keep selling SEO if you know how to do SEO, because that's great. However, you're going to want to fill the funnel with traffic. And that is where I would say, let's do Facebook ads. Let's do, I would always start with Facebook ads, and I would always start with retargeting ads. Now, I teach how to do inbound search, inbound YouTube, retargeting with YouTube, like basically Facebook and Instagram and all of those components, but I would just start with those. There's another thing that I wanted to get to before I have to go. And that was, I'm just going to come back to this. Okay. It's mindset. It's mindset more than anything. You won't ever have this figured out prior to, landing your first client. So this is kind of what I would suggest to you. And this is what I would go over. And this is what I go over in my training, by the way. I've got a 90-minute training on kind of like how to go through all of this. This is the short and condensed version. I just wanted to do a live because we haven't done one in a while. But the idea is this. You might have heard the expression, kick them in their bruised knee. What you have to do when you're working with a business is you need to highlight, right, the pain points. Where are these pain points? And every business knows what it's like to leave money on the table. And that is exactly a problem that you can solve. immediately for business with retargeting. Okay. So go with that. Don't pitch them leads. Don't pitch them like, hey, I'm going to get you 100 free leads or 100, or not free, because you're not working for free. You're not going to pitch them a specific number. What you can do is you can solve a problem for them. And after you solve that small problem of retargeting systems and tracking systems, then all of a sudden you have this magical word. You have trust. As soon as somebody trusts you and they can see they can not only see like the data, they can line everything up, they know the ROI, then they are way more inclined to continue doing business with you. And from there, what I would pitch them is this. And this is the same thing that I pitch with every single client. It's a threefold system. One, I set up your tracking because we need to know what is working and what is not. And by tracking, what I mean by that is we're connecting clicks all the way to conversions. Conversion meaning what is the one thing that they need to grow their business? Is it booked phone calls? Is it request a quote? Is it a demo scheduled? Is it a download? That is what you're going to isolate, and that's what you're going to track. And when you use UTMs, you don't need to worry about cookies and iOS and all of that other stuff. When you use UTMs, you can connect clicks to customers, and that is your proof as a marketer to connect the dots, for these businesses. After that, then go out and sell retargeting systems. You don't want to feed the funnel until you have retargeting in place. Why is retargeting so important? Well, the vast majority of your business, of your conversions will come from retargeting, because not everybody goes to a website and opts in or buys or whatever the very first time. They come, they check out, they leave, and then they'll come back. That is the magic of retargeting. Now, if you're spending $1,000 a month or $100 a month, it doesn't matter what it is, your retargeting budget is probably only going to be 15 to 20%. Meaning this, if you go out and sell retargeting only, it will work for businesses. However, there's a problem that emerges over time of, okay, the retargeting is working, but there's no new traffic. And so at this point, that is when I would pitch them a next step of filling the funnel with qualified leads. And the way that I would do that is not necessarily one way for everybody. This is where you need to understand the market. And this is what I cover in my extended offer funnel accelerator of, is the product that they're selling, do people come looking with intent? And if they have intent, you want to meet them on search or on YouTube if they type something in, or if they have good video, if they have good content, lead with Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And again, you're pushing people into the funnel, and then you have a retargeting system set up. And what I mean by that is Google Display, Google Search, ad roll, if you want to do ad roll, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. You have all of these machines working on your behalf. So then you can go feed the funnel. And this works with organic as well. So Mohammed, you were asking about SEO. At this point, this is where SEO actually really starts working, and you can leverage that to your advantage. However, I wouldn't just necessarily just lead with SEO, because you're kind of, listen, I get it. SEO is great. It's hugely important, but you still need to feed the beast. And if you master Google search ads are the number one way to grow your SEO. Why? It's because SEO depends on three things. One, I shouldn't say that just on three things, but what SEO and how SEO and Google search ads combine are if the person searching for that query actually, no, let me start over. The most important way to grow your SEO is getting people onto your website. Plain, period. Getting people onto your website and then having them stay there. And the great way to do that is to align your SEO with Google search ads, because that query should match up with your landing page, and your landing page should be all optimized and all that. I'm not going to go into that because this is primarily focusing on getting your first client. So I only have about 5 minutes left. So if you have questions, drop them now. I am going to do a live later this week, but I've got a coaching call here in 5 minutes. But I really want to address this because I just see folks struggling. And it is all a mindset thing. And I know it's hard. And I know it's uncomfortable to go pitch somebody if you don't feel confident. But here's the deal. They need your help at the end of the day. A business does not know how to... If you're going to go pitch a business to run Facebook ads, retargeting, obviously they don't know how to do it, because otherwise they would be doing it. And if they don't know how to do it, then they're looking for somebody else. So either they're going to find somebody other than you, and that other person probably isn't going to do as good a job, or you can go do that. But again, you just have to have the confidence. So if I would reiterate this, what I would say is this, and I see this comment come in, I'll address this and then I'll probably have to go. Be honest. Be honest in what you're offering. Be honest in your results. Don't guarantee anything because you haven't done anything yet. You don't have any experience. So don't say that. What you can do is just be honest with the business. And then again, lead with just this honest conversation of I'm going to set up your tracking and retargeting. And we're going to have an honest conversation about the numbers and the results that I bring you. And if I can prove that I am bringing you results, then you can put me on retainer. And hopefully I make you way more money than you pay me. That's kind of the whole goal behind all of this. Okay. Question. When we are initially retargeting a business, are we solely relying on their email list? What do you recommend if they have no custom audiences for retargeting in the first place? Good question. So what I would recommend if you're setting up retargeting is not going on their email list. You could. I would just go on their website traffic. So if traffic is coming to their website, go ahead and retarget those folks. You can use an email list if you want to, but this is the other important bit. What you should have when you're always targeting, you should always think about who am I targeting and who am I not targeting. So you should always have an exclusion list baked in. So your exclusion list would be somebody who has opted in already. So maybe there's a separate email database for that or separate email list, or if they've hit a thank you page. And again, the thank you page is the most important thing because it is the endpoint. And again, that's what I go over in retargeting IQ. It's just this way to make sure that your funnel is, your funnel has an endpoint. Your funnel has a completion. Somebody opts in. And at that point, that allows you to start, as a marketer, to start thinking, who do I target? Who do I not target? So really good question. When you're initially setting up retargeting, you could lead with their email list. But I would think about it this way. Who is, let's see, who is like right here, right? Who is this close to the bottom of the funnel as possible. Now, retargeting IQ, I'm going to make this pitch one more time because I do think it is going to be the best $27 you ever invest in growth marketing. I know that's a high claim. You can go to my landing page. You can see what people say about it, but I will stand by that because this is what I'm going to do more than anything. Yes, I can teach you how to do retargeting. Yes, I can teach you how to do tracking. Those are two wildly valuable skills. However, the most important thing that I could ever teach anyone in growth marketing, again, I'll say that again, the most important thing that I could ever teach you is how to think about it correctly. And what I mean by that is thinking from the bottom of the funnel up. You're not thinking like a marketer. You want to think like a growth hacker. You want to think of somebody of how do I increase the sales? Who is most likely to become a customer? Start your targeting with them and exclude everybody else above that. So that's a great question. Okay. I've got to, if you haven't, so I understand that most people watch this after the fact. So if you have a question after you see this, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. I will try to do another live tomorrow. Thank you for the great questions, by the way. I truly appreciate that. I will try to do another live tomorrow or later on this week. I want to get back into the flow of things. And I love your questions because it's just it helps keep me fresh. But more than anything, what I want you to walk away with encouraged is this. If you do not have your very first client, don't wait for X skill. Go start having that conversation with somebody and learn with their ad spend. And I'm not saying that to be dishonest or anything like that, but like if they are hurting and they need business, they need you. They don't need somebody else. So pitch them tracking, pitch them retargeting, start with that, get them results, have an honest conversation with them. And from there, go ahead and stack on to what you're doing. But in this world of growth marketing, it is a pay-to-play game. And the only way that you actually learn is by running ads themselves. So find somebody who can trust you, build a relationship with them, build something that at the beginning that's credible that you can base growth off of, set a baseline, and then go from there. So yeah, you bet. More than happy to help. So, okay, guys, I got to go hopping on a coaching call now. If you're interested in retargeting IQ, hop into it. It's only $27. And from there, what I will actually welcome you into is one of my Facebook groups where I do this, weekly, obviously. And so I would love to have you there. Thank you to those guys who've watched the whole time. I really appreciate that. Best of luck to you. Drop your questions in the comments, even after this video goes down or after the live is finished, because I'll address them in the next video. All right, guys, hope you're well. Have a good rest of your day. Talk soon.